Hello students, I am Dr. M. Naglakshmi. In the continuity of lectures in New Literature, Unit 5, today we are going to see Wole Soyinka's biography. Let us see Wole Soyinka's biography. Wole Soyinka was born in Abeokuta, Western Nigeria on July 30, 1934. His father was an Anglican minister and Soyinka was raised on an Anglican mission compound. At the same time, he developed a strong connection to his Yoruba roots through his grandfather, the Yoruba priest. So, what you have to remember, Western Nigerian man, born in 1934, and he had a great connection with his grandfather, Yoruba priest, and also he was raised in an Anglican mission compound. So, mixture of these. As a child, Soyinka was inquisitive and charming, and he excelled in school. So, very charming child, and he was very good in studies during his school. He graduated from his preparatory university studies, high school, in 1954. He moved to England to attend the University of Leeds, where he earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in English Literature in 1958. He later returned to Leeds for his doctorate, which he completed in 1973. So, what you have to remember, name Soyinka, and born in 1934, and he was very good in studies during his schooling, and he excelled in college also. He has completed his Bachelor of Literature in 1958, and he has completed his doctorate in 1973. He has completed his doctorate in Leeds University, right? And he had a strong connection with his grandfather, the Yoruba priest, and he was raised in an Anglican mission compound. So it's a mixture of these two. So he had great African roots, Yoruba roots, as well as the Christian missionary, right? And then his early works. After graduating from college, Swenka returned to Nigeria and started his own theatre troupe, The Mass, which performed some of his early work, including The Lion and the Jewel, The Trials of Brother Jiro, performed 1960, published in 1963. So, his own theatre troupe named The Mass, some of his plays, performed in his theatre, that is Lion and the Jewel, The Trials of Brother Jiro, performed in 1960 and published in 1963. And A Dance of Forest, this also performed in 1960 and published in 1963. All of these early plays contain serious messages hidden within satirical or comedic stories. So, all these plays have certain hidden messages, either satirical message or comedic messages. The Lion and the Jewel pokes fun at both Western and traditional African cultures. So the story underneath a Lion and the Jewel fun at both Western and traditional African culture. Right? The trials of Brother Jero satirizes the way greedy preachers exploit their parishioners' trust. And A Dance of the Forest comedically destroys the romance surrounding the newly decolonized Nigeria by presenting it as just as troubled as before decolonization. So, three different themes, right? So, what you have to remember, his best plays performed on stage, um, The Lion and the Jewel, The Trials of Brother Jero, and A Dance of Forest. All these plays performed in 1960, published in 1963. His own theatre troupe named The Mask. So these are the important details you have to remember. And then political activism and arrest. In the mid 1960s, Soyinka plays began to take on a moral and more political tone during the Nigerian Civil War in between 1967 to 70. Soyinka penned an article asking for a ceasefire. This request caused the government to fear that Soyinka might be a rebel sympathizer, and he was arrested. Soyinka was held as a political prisoner for 22 months, a time during which he wrote poems from prison in 1969. He also published The Man Dead in 1972, which was about his arrest and imprisonment. Despite his imprisonment, Soyinka remained politically active through his involvement with numerous organizations, including the National Democratic Organization, the National Liberation Council of Nigeria, the Pro-National Conference organizations, uh, PRONACO, and the Democratic Front for a People's Federation. Although he is considered primarily a playwright, Soyinka has published novels, poems, literary criticism, and political writing. In 1986, he became the first Black African to be awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. So, these are the very important details you have to remember. So, first Black American to receive Nobel Prize. In which year? 1986. So, no need to remember these political activities. What you have to write. So, when you start writing about author note, short note, you have to write Wole Soyinka, um, born in Western Nigeria in the year 1934. He was very good in studies and he had a strong connection with his grandfather, with Aruba priest, and he was raised in an Anglican mission compound. So he had a combination of Christian thoughts and African culture, Yoruba culture, and he had completed his Bachelor of Literature in 1958, and he had completed his doctorate in 1973. He had completed his doctorate. Uh, in Leeds University and his own theatre troupe, The Mask, right? And he published his early, he performed his early plays in his own theatre, The Mask, the plays were The Lion and the Jewel, The Trials of Brother Zero, and A Dance of Forest, and later published in 1963, right? And he was the first Black American who received Nobel Prize in 1986 for literature. Okay, thank you. Let us see the play Lion and the Jewel in the next lecture.